Hello, my name is John Hedger, and I wanted to talk about how I approach teaching beginning classical guitar. The book that I've used for many years, the Frederick Node First Book for the Guitar, Part 1. It's the book I'm currently using, and what I like about it is it's not a real thick book. It doesn't take 2 years to get through it. It's concise. I don't do every exercise in the book, but the ones we do are very important, and it'll get a student up to where you could play beginning pieces in the shortest amount of time. It's going to take some time. To be honest, the average person, even though this book is only 57 pages, the average person takes 6 months to up to a year to get through this book. I've had people who are music majors in a university and they've gone through the book in a couple of months, but that's very unusual. The approach of the book is it's a lot like a lot of guitar methods, like standard methods. One thing that I ask students to use is a capo, and the reason for that is to teach good hand position. I want to do it where a student isn't stretching to the max, because the first notes we learn on the guitar, E, F, and G, are the hardest notes to play because the frets are the distance between the frets is so wide down here near the first fret. So if we capo around the 5th fret, and okay, with some people with small hands we might capo the 7th fret, but usually the 5th fret. And we read this as E, F, and G. It's not really E, F, and G, but with the capo here, but we pretend it is. And you would learn some beginning student-teacher duets with E, F, and G, like in the book. And notice how I'm plucking the string. I'm plucking the string through the string onto the next string, and that's called a rest stroke, or in Spanish, apoyando. And we alternate middle index mostly. And so the apoyando stroke, it's very loud, it's very punchy, and really easy to do. It's like rolling off a log. You play one string and roll right onto another string. And it supports the weight of your hand. So you don't feel like you got to do this or put your pinky on the bridge or anything like that. It's a very easy stroke. And that's why we start with that, because it's easy, and it's a very important stroke to know, is the rest stroke. And we go through all 3 strings. At first you may have a little trouble reading, because you're going to have to read the notes on a page, and like with the first string exercises, just keep telling yourself it's just 3 notes. I can read 3 notes. And then on the second string we do 3 more notes, and we've got now 6 notes. and then on the third string 2 more notes, so we have 8 notes, and so on. And when we get through all 6 strings, well, by the time we get to the 4th, 5th, and 6th strings, we start doing different techniques, like playing with the thumb. And with the thumb, I usually have students plant their index and middle on the first 2 strings and play kind of a counterclockwise circular motion with the whole thumb. You move the whole thumb. You don't bend it or do that kind of thing. And then we get into a technique that's not as standard for classical guitar, but it's I call it thumb index, and it's a Renaissance lute technique. But it's really good for playing quick notes in the bass. And it's a lot like strumming. It's you use your wrists, so it's very fast. And it's a useful technique. And then we get into chords, like hitting 2 strings at a time. Things like that. And then chord patterns or arpeggios. And then we start playing chords and melody, or bass line and melody. Pieces like, here's a Fernando Sor piece, if I can find it here, okay, from his Opus 31. Fernando Sor was a Spanish composer around the time of Mozart and early Beethoven. Beautiful piece. That's like a Spanish lullaby. Who wouldn't want to play that piece? I mean, it's classical guitar is a very beautiful thing. So when we get to that point, we're almost through the book, and we would be doing other pieces, and everything step by step, just a little more challenging. Here's a piece, a Renaissance lute piece, played with thumb index. Now, I'm not quite in tune. Check the tuning. And then, you know, after a while we will move the capo, inch it down the neck to where maybe at the 2nd fret, and possibly before we get to the end of the book. And here's another piece by Fernando Sor that's again, these pieces, like this piece, doesn't go beyond the 3rd fret. It's what we call first position. And it's important, I think, to learn first position very well before inching up the neck. And we gradually do that with other guitar pieces. But here's another Fernando Storr study in C. Another Fernando Storr piece. This one's a little more advanced, but still sort of in the upper beginner stage. And then a piece, I'm just going to play some other beginner pieces. This is by Leo Brauer, a Cuban composer. His study number 1 in E minor. And another Fernando Storr piece from the same group of studies that 2 of the other ones I've played come from is Opus 31. So I hope that gives you an idea of the direction that I would take you as a beginner guitar, classical guitar student. Please come see me at John Hedger Guitar Studio, 274 Southland Drive in Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you so much.